broken down into its simplest parts and becomes a game of numbers. Sometimes the numbers are on your side, and sometimes the numbers are against you. Sometimes the numbers can be misleading.
Company of Heroes is often praised as a great step forward for the strategy genre that appeals to both casual gamers as well as hardcore strategy fans. I don't necessarily play a lot of strategy games, but I really enjoyed the original Company of Heroes and also viewed the Opposing Fronts expansion as a fairly good addition. I've downloaded many third-party maps because I simply can't get enough. It's fun, you don't have to spend an hour building up your base, gameplay is very simple, and great action begins very quickly. Most people seem to have the same impression. When I first heard of the Tales of Valor expansion, I was really excited to start playing again. After completing the campaigns and spending some time with the multiplayer though, I'm definitely not very pleased. When you look at the price point, gameplay time ratio, it's apparent to me that THQ and Relic have already turned on the milking machine, which seems much too soon. The new expansion pack features 3 new campaigns with 3 missions each, 3 new multiplayer modes, new maps, and some new mediocre content and features. New campaigns on the single-player side include Tiger Ace, Causeway, and Falia's Pocket. In multiplayer, Operation Panzerkrieg, Operation Stonewall, and Operation Assault modes are included, along with new units such as the American M18 Hellcat and the German Staghound armored car. One of the highlighted new features is direct fire, which is basically just what it sounds like. You can specifically target a unit's fire with your mouse. The downside is that you are unable to select another unit until you disable direct fire. This new feature is alright, but it really didn't seem like anything special or amazing. Unfortunately, this is the case with most of the new features. The single-player campaigns are very short and meager, and 2 of the 3 are largely different from the original Company of Heroes gameplay style. And when I say short, I mean finish in an afternoon, 3 to 4 hours short. Relic wanted to try something different with this add-on, and thus we get the Tiger Ace and Causeway campaigns. The main difference comes in the form of a small, practically invincible force that you command through several battles. In Tiger Ace you command 101st Tigergruppe, which is just one tank up against many allied tanks and troops. You receive upgrades quickly, but it all goes by so quickly that you barely get a chance to try the new features. Eventually, the tank is disabled, and you are forced to make an escape, and later take revenge with 2 Tigers. In Causeway, the situation is very similar. You command 2 airborne squads, part of the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment, which are almost untouchable. Soldiers in the squad will get injured or go down, but you just distribute health kits and they're back on their feet within a small amount of time. The third campaign, Falia's Pocket, is much more normal in terms of the rest of the Company of Heroes series, but victory in this German campaign means retreating as the Allies close in on the town of Troon, which seems a little funny and unsatisfying. So much is left to be desired on the single-player front. When it comes to the multiplayer portion of the game, I'd start by stating that if you've never played Company of Heroes multiplayer in the past, now is not a good time to begin. I played multiplayer a little bit with the original Company of Heroes, but it's now been a long time, and I didn't continue playing regularly. I started playing again after receiving Tales of Valor, and wow, I must just really suck or something is very unbalanced with multiplayer. I just played on whatever server for a while, not worrying about whether a new map was being played or not, and went on a huge losing streak. It was fun either way at first, but after a while, I just got really sick of it. When the opposition brings over 5 tanks in under 15 minutes of play, something just isn't right. I stuck to the supposed noob servers, but it's obvious that many people have a lot of experience. The fact that there are usually only a handful of servers available, and once you get in one, there's a good chance your teammates will verbally thrash you if you're new, makes playing multiplayer a waste for me. This isn't to say that multiplayer can't be fun, it certainly can be, but you need a lot of practice in order to be good at it. You might be thinking, hey, isn't every multiplayer community like this? But I would argue that the Company of Heroes community seems a little more vicious than usual. With that out of the way, the new multiplayer modes and maps seem okay if you are able to enjoy Company of Heroes online play. The Operation Panzerkrieg is basically just a tank mode. The more difficult Operation Stonewall co-op mode drops you and others into a town that needs to be defended while a barrage of AI forces try to take it, and Operation Assault, apparently heavily influenced by the Defense of the Ancients mod for Warcraft 3, involves two sides that are heavily entrenched where you control a hero unit. Hardcore fans will end up buying this expansion just for the multiplayer. Downloadable content has started to gain in popularity lately, and a lot of companies are pushing out these often large updates at little to no cost. Tales of Valor seems nothing like a full-blown expansion, and more along the lines of one of these simpler content updates. There is absolutely no way that I can recommend purchasing Tales of Valor at the current $30 price point. $10 to $15 seems much more reasonable. I would assume that veterans of the series would also be distraught with the two new invincible single-player modes and possibly some of the multiplayer balancing issues. Online play can be fun if you have experience, though it would be nice to see some more servers available and for the community to be more open to new players. While I'm kind of sick of World War II games in general, the Company of Heroes series seems to be a bit of an exception. However, I would really like to see Relic expand and bring in the Soviet troops, create a Pacific Front game, or even base a game on the Vietnam War. So in the end, you'd be able to skip this installment in the Company of Heroes series and not really miss much.